Yeah, all right. Yeah. Good. All right. Thanks everybody for coming back in. Just have your attention. We were waiting for Matt, so apologies for the delay. Matt's going to come up halfway through, so I'm going to get started because I know you're probably eager to kind of watch a bit of football and what have you. Just a quick introduction. My name's Terry Barton. I run a company called The Coaching Manual. TopTekkers is the latest product that we've created. Coaching Manual probably gives a little bit away as to what that's about. It's about coaching football. TopTekkers is entirely about players. Sheffield United are a very innovative club, so you're very lucky in that regard. They are the first club at this level of football to get TopTekkers for all of the academy players in the foundation phase. So we're really excited to be working with the club. We've been working with Sheffield United on a number of things for quite a few years, and they've always been a fantastic club to work with. So this is the latest kind of evolution in that process. So it's only going to be about 20 minutes. We just wanted to give parents the chance to get a bit of an idea of what TopTekkers is, because hopefully by now you've received an email and you've followed a process to get logged in. If you haven't, my email address is at the bottom. Take it down, drop me an email anytime, I'll help you out. We've also got a couple of guys at the back of the room, Steve, Chris and Rick, who are also on hand to help you with whatever. So yeah, Coaching Manual is a business that's been around since 2011. We're a family-run business, so myself and my brother run the Coaching Manual. But we're really, the whole reason for what we've created in TopTekkers is that we really love football. We're really passionate about it. Chris was lucky to get into the pro setup and played at Carlisle.
Lucky, I worked really hard to do that.
He worked really hard to do that, obviously. Didn't quite make it because of a combination of injuries and things, so we kind of have an understanding of how precarious this journey is that you're on. But we grew up loving football, grew up in the northwest in the Lake District, and we kind of, all our lives, all we wanted to do was work in the game in some way, so we're quite fortunate that we are here and we're still on this journey. We practiced incessantly as children. We took footballs with us everywhere. We were very fortunate to grow up in the 1980s where we'd be at school at 8 o'clock in the morning, we'd play for an hour before the bell went. This is at primary school. We played at every break, we played at lunch, and then when the school bell went at the end of the day, we were back in the playground playing football. I'm a dad myself. I've got a 10-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter. And they just don't have that opportunity in school anymore to play sport in the same way that we did. And what we noticed through the Coaching Manual was that the technical development of young players was on the decrease. And we tried for years to get a product that would help players fall in love with practicing just the basic techniques that we know are the foundations of any footballer's ability. We also know that practice is absolutely paramount to any player getting anywhere, not just as a professional player, but actually as a decent level amateur player as well. You have to practice the techniques, you have to know what the techniques are. And so about 3 years ago, we started building the TopTekkers app. It is an app, so you'll have got to log into an online platform, but you can download an app as well, because we know that if your kids are anything like mine, that they're either stuck to this or to an iPad. They don't really use laptops and stuff in the same way as adults do. So we knew that when we developed the product, it had to be child-friendly. We're also stealing stuff from things like Fortnite and Minecraft, things that kind of help kids engage with technology, but it's for a positive outcome, which is either to get better at football or something else which is also close to my heart, just get them more active and get them fitter. So I won't kind of labour too much on that point. I'm going to go straight into demo of the platform, and then we'll have some questions at the end. So first thing to talk about, let me see if I can, this is on the online platform. So it's a similar experience when you log in on the app, but you've got 3 different distinct logins. You've got the login as a child, you've got the login as a parent, and you've got the login as a coach. So the first thing I'm going to look at is the login as a parent. It's really important that you log into the right account when you're trying to get into the platform. So I'll enter my parent login details, and it takes me into a very simple dashboard for my kids. I'll start with what happens with the child. So my son is Jones. This is what I can see for the scores that he's got for the exercises that he's doing. As I said, he's a 10-year-old. He has been using the app for a long time. He's trying really hard to improve himself. So in something like juggling is a great example, because he set himself a target back in September when he was getting about 25 to 30 keepy-ups. He set himself a target that by February he was going to get over 100, which he's just done by practicing. So this is kind of the number one thing about TopTekkers, is it's about practice, it's about enjoying it, and it's about challenging yourself to improve. I always use juggling as a good example, because actually it's one of the hardest things to get really good at. It might not have a straightforward application in the game, but do you know what? If you want to get good at juggling, the only way you get good at juggling is by practicing. You can't cheat on it. There is no shortcut to getting good at that. Some of the passing and control things are a little bit easier, I would argue, to get good at. So I can go in and I can see the scores that he's got. It's built around a reward system, so you get trophies for achieving certain grades when you go through it. We'll talk about how you achieve those grades when we look at the child account. But we've kind of broken the game down into its component parts. And within each of those component parts, we've created a bunch of activities that children can go and participate in, can go and take challenges in, and can go and record scores in, so that they can measure their own progress. The fundamental part from a parent's perspective for TopTekkers is internet safety for children. It's absolutely what we live and die by as a company. So it's so secure, this platform, for your kids. There is no risk of them interacting with people that they shouldn't be interacting with. And the reason for that is, if you log into your account, I'll go back to the dashboard and walk through it. You go into the child account, you can look at the scores and the trophies, but the important information is in this area, which is called account, and this shows you your child's account. Tells you when he was active, tells you what he's been doing, and the trophies that he's got. But the really important bit is if you select edit on that child account, takes you into his or her information. You are the only person who can change the information for your child. Your coaches here can't, the child himself can't, it's just the parents. You go in, you can set him a username, you can set him a password. Obviously, the simpler the better, especially if your kids are like my son. Otherwise, he'll forget it. And you can also put his birth year in. And this is an important thing. You can manually change the difficulty level. So if you find your son is actually finding things a little bit too easy, probably at 2-star level, move him up to 3-star. The challenges become further. The scores required to get gold become higher. And the difficulty level obviously goes up with that. So that is the main kind of area that you need to think about as a parent, is controlling the access for your son. The next bit that's really important from your perspective is my own account. So if you click on the top right when you're logged in, it'll take you to your own account. Again, here you can change your details, email address, password. You don't need to worry about billing details, because the club's paid for the account for your son, so you don't need to worry about what's in there. The other thing that you do need to think about is that your coach will have, the coaches I think Matt got set up, will have automatically been created as a connection for your child. If another coach wants to get in touch, you'll find it in the request bit. if you want to get in touch with the coach, you can request. So you can put the coach's email address in, you can say which child the coach, and you can add it in. So you've got this account through Sheffield, but also you do have the ability to add other people into that. You control it though. The child can't ask for a connection to a coach. The child can't do anything that allows them to communicate with a coach. There is no communication. It is, the child gets in, watches videos, takes challenges, gets medals, that's it. The connections that you have for your child can be found in the connections bit. If for whatever reason your child stopped working with a coach, you just remove that connection, and then all of that interaction between that coach and your child is gone. So yeah, request there for any coaches that you want to. Now, you might have seen a little red dot in the top right. It's to let you know that a coach has tried to request a connection. So you can manage that in here as well. It'll say, do you want to approve the connection? If it's one of the coaches from the club, then just say yes. Then that allows them to add your child to their team. Has anyone got any questions about the parent account? Because it's pretty simple, but it's just, I just want to kind of make sure that you've...
Manage a new password.
So if you want to put a new password in for a parent, you can do it there. So you can put it in for yourself. If you want to do it for your son, if you forget it or if he can't, you don't have to go in and remember. So just go into account, go into edit, and I'll just set him. So he'll go in, try and log in now. He won't be able to because I've changed his password, but that's it. You can go and change that whenever you want. So if you've forgotten what it was, you don't need to remember the old password for the child account because you've got control over that. Yeah. So if you've forgotten what you put in when you did that login process, then just go in and change it to something easy to remember. My son's it's got to be straightforward because he just forgets, and that's why he ends up locking an iPad for 300 days. Because he just keeps trying it even though it's locked him out. So I'm going to log out, and then we're going to go into the child account. And I think it's really important to me as a parent, and no doubt to you guys as well, because you're in this system, that you share the journey in the game with your child, with your son. I'll go and log in now as him. So if I use his old password, it'll say, yeah, password's not valid. So let me put that new one in. Log in, and then it'll take me into the child's account. So the parent's account feels a little bit sparse because there's nothing in there that you can see. It's literally just a management tool for your son. All of the cool stuff is in Kids Access. So when they download the app and they log in, all of the information is in there. Now, one of the key parts of TopTekkers for the club is that it allows the coaches to set individual learning plans for the children. So we've got an area here called My Top Training. So this is for my son. He goes and looks into that, and then he's got a bunch of different opportunities here to look at learning plans that have been created. So there's the learning plan that, as his grassroots coach, I've created for him, which has got a bunch of activities in there that he can go and watch. There's also, if he's actually keen on working on some stuff himself, and as I said, my son's really keen on getting his juggling score to get gold, he can go and set his own learning plan, so he can remove stuff from there, and he can also go in and add it. So we want to give ownership of the learning experience to kids as well. We don't want everything to be handed on to them. You know, let them take responsibility, because there's a lot of evidence that says that internal motivation is a great way for children to learn. If it's always external, then they always feel like they're kind of being driven to it, whereas actually we as a business want to give kids ownership and let them take responsibility themselves. I can go and have a quick preview of what the video looks like in this process of adding my own learning plan, but I know what toe taps are, I know what inside outside is. I'll stick that in there for him. So that's in his My Top Training. The brand new bit that you probably haven't seen if you have logged in as a kid is the team training. So this is something that the coaches will now start to be able to do for the whole team. So they'll be learning from a team basis, learning from an individual basis set by the coaches, and also learning from a personal basis the things that a child feels like he wants to work on. So the technique categories, we broke the game down into its component parts basically. It's a simple game, football, but there's lots of moving parts in it. If you don't get a good technical basis to the game, you're going to struggle to actually play it at a decent level. Control is vital, how you strike the ball mastery for things like coordination, for agility, for balance. We've got fitness area here, we've got things like push-ups and sit-ups. Strength is important, endurance, move to improve, so things like a 2-foot long jump is a basic plyometric exercise that's going to improve power. A child goes in and has a look through these categories. I would really recommend that as a parent, you go and spend a bit of time looking through some of these videos with your child, because the videos are really good for me as a grassroots coach to help me teach technique to my players. We kind of understand the game because we grew up with it in this country, but actually the techniques and the experts that we have in our business break this technique down into the parts that actually matter. So if I go and look at something like passing, for example, and I'm going to look at one-touch pass, this might come through the learning plan. Child goes in and he's got a video to look at. So we've kept the text light. My boy's doesn't really spend his time on the internet reading stuff. He spends his time on the internet watching stuff. So it's got a video. I don't know how this will play through this screen.
Now it's time for you to become a TopTekkers passing master with the one-touch pass.
Ball and a wall stuff, I mean, it's as basic as it gets
To
in
pass
football.
properly, foot next to the ball with the toes pointing at your target. Pass with the inside of your foot and keep your ankles strong. Head over the ball. On your toes and knees bent so you can move.
And that's it.
Want to be the best? Then go and practice, practice, practice.
From a technical standpoint,
the challenge.
it's absolutely spot on. The information is spot on. I mean, that is how you pass first time with the inside of your foot. All of the information has been developed through a really rigorous process of breaking the game down. So you can be completely confident that if you're a parent watching it, you don't know a lot about technique, you can watch this video and you can actually learn the technique, and you can then go and work with your kid and help them. Just, you know, because you'll spot things like a floppy ankle. He's not got his ankle strong, and you can see that as a parent. But without having that information, I certainly wouldn't have been able to go and work with my son on it. So then they watch the video. The next bit is to then take the challenge. So inside every video that we've got for each technique, there is a challenge for them to score points. So broken down into bronze, silver and gold. And obviously the kids here are probably going to be at the higher end of some of these scores. So he gets to watch the video for the challenge.
Got passing, Tekkers? Set up a gate, 4 yards or 4 large steps wide, 4 yards away from the wall.
We've tried to make it reasonably idiot-proof, so 4 large steps is broadly 4 yards. It just gives kids the opportunity to go and set the stuff up on their own. There's about 2-to-1 ratio of challenges that you can do on your own versus challenges that you'd need a parent or a friend for.
Pass the ball from behind the gate to the wall to score a point. You have 20 seconds to score as many points as possible. The ball has to come back through the gate for it to count.
So fairly
Record
easy.
your score and keep improving.
Fairly easy to set up, fairly easy to do. Might need a parent to help with timing. But then they go in here, they submit the score, and that score then gets, I won't do it because it is his live account and he gets annoyed when he's got scores that he's not got. But then it's recorded against his trophies and his scores, which he can always go in and have a look at. So anything that he's done a score on, it's all listed in here, whether it's his ball mastery or whatever it is. All of the scores are listed so that he's got the challenges that he's taken. So we use that scoring system to keep them progressing, give them something to work on, give them something to target, and it means that they stay motivated to achieve those scores. The game is in there, the whole game's in there, but we launched this product in November, so we've got loads more coming. In the next month or so, we're going to release scoreboards, league tables. So again, internally in the team, and this is another important point, if you as a parent choose to allow him to be part of that scoreboard, might not want him to be, because you might just want him to just keep away from that competition, because I know it can get quite stressful for some children. But we have things like that coming, so that they've got scoreboards, league table, they can compete against their mates and what have you. At some point in the future, once we figure out how we can allow kids to upload video for their own account, we'll release that. And again, that'll be secure, it'll be internal, it won't be so that they can share video of themselves outside of their own account. So that is the kids part of it. Like I said, it is on an app, so I would recommend that you download the app from the App Store or from Google Play, log into the child account there and let them use that on the app, because it's a lot more intuitive for them. That is essentially it for TopTekkers. It's designed to be really simple, but there's loads of really good technology behind it to make it stable, to make it easy to use and to make it safe. So have anybody got any questions about any of the stuff that I've shown you in there? Any questions? Is it all fairly self-explanatory? Has everyone received the email to get them set up? I know I did some of the onboarding, so if you haven't, go back to my email address, give me a shout, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. That's it. That's half an hour of your time taken up. Thank you very much again for giving us the time. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.